So this next section we'll be talking about how to upload and edit and maintain the blog module on your new website. So we kind of use the word blog in a generic way. It can be used for news, it can be used for events, it could be used for announcements, or traditionally it can be used as a blog. There's a lot of things that we've pre-programmed in here that will be automated for you, such as the time that the item is published, the date that it's published, and who has published the item. All of these can be edited by us. Just let us know if you want to have a change to some of these items, and we can assist you with that. So this might look different depending on the style of the site that we've built. Visually, this might look a little bit different, but the functionality of how to go about maintaining it is all very similar. So remember before when I said your pencil is your guide to DNN, but there are some exceptions. This is the exception. So you can see the little pencil icon looks a little bit different. And down below here we have some options to create a new article and go into the manager. So before we jump into creating a new article or editing an article, let's go ahead and look at manager. So manager will be all of the articles that have ever been published on your site. You can see that this section has its own little helpful interface, and this just enables you to go through a bulk of content all at once. It'll list all of it down the page here. So again, in this case, we only have one item, a little placeholder item that I've created here. But as time goes on, each time you create a new article, it will create a new item that will just list it down the page here. So once we're on this page, there's a lot of options over here, things like this. We try to make this easy for you, and we have pre-configured all of these items on this side over here. All you'll ever really have to worry about is adding a new item. In some cases, you may want to add a category, and in some cases, you may wish to manage your tags. So let's go ahead and edit this article, because once you're familiar with editing an article, the interface for adding a new article is identical, except it won't have any content pre-populated into it. So to edit an article, you can see here just a different version of the pencil icon, but it's still a pencil. You can edit it or remove it. So let's go ahead and edit. And it will pop up, and you can see that this is sort of a simplified format. It will attempt to do all the coding and things like that you need. This is really meant to just be a simple blog type article, type your content in, and add your photos. So it sort of walks you through each item. First of all, the title. So this would be the title of the event or blog that you're writing about. And then we have the summary. So the summary is what we'll show on the main block here. So before they click to read more. So if you just have a brief statement about what your article is about, you can paste in a short summary here. And then below, this is where you would put the full body of the article itself. Obviously, you don't want to have a full body of article just scrolling on down your page forever. So we would want to just do a brief summary. 1 or 2 sentences will suffice in that section here. But then in this section here, you are not limited. Again, you're not limited in any way to how much content you put into this section here. You can see all I've done now is just copy this content on this page and pasted it into this page as an example. So you have the option of putting in photos next to your items using the Add Media box. We have not uploaded any photos into this specific tool yet, but again, we have the option of clicking Add Pictures, clicking to upload them. So here's my little logo again. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And a common mistake is to think, since it has the check mark, that photo will now be inserted into your blog. You want to make sure you click over to Picture List and select it here. So I'm going to click on the additional box, and you can see that it's plopped it in. And in this case, you can manually resize the image if you choose, and you can move it around on the page itself. But again, if you have more questions about this, we can do a advanced training session on the blog itself. But typically speaking, there are other better ways to add photos to a blog itself rather than in the body of the text. So the next items, as we scroll down the page, there's some items down here. Again, this is all optional things, but for the SEO title, this will help you with search engine optimization. If you want to do some of these things, the title is just you want to describe with keywords what the nature of the article is. So if you're blogging about apples and you're an orchard in Indiana, I would suggest you name your SEO title as Apples in Lafayette, Indiana for sale, or something along those lines. So now you have a bunch of great keywords that the search engines can think about contextually to one another. So now the business, it knows that you have the keyword apples, so you're likely an orchard of some kind or a place that sells apples, and you are located in Lafayette, Indiana, and the search engines are smart enough to sort of pick up on that. The keywords will just be a list of keywords separated by commas. Apples, orchards, fruit, seeds, whatever your keywords are for the items themselves, for sale. And you're not limited in any way to how many keywords you put into this. The more the merrier. And again, none of these are going to be magic bullets for SEO, but SEO is a very additive type of thing. So as you go on, the more and more of this stuff that you do, the more it will help you get ranked in the search engines. And then finally, the description. This would just be, it's similar to your summary up here, but you can write it in a less natural way, using keywords. So this is an article about apples for sale in Lafayette, Indiana. So it sounds really robotic. You probably wouldn't have that be, the summary for your blog. Up here in the summary, you'd want to use more creative language like delicious apples for sale and, stuff like that. But down here, this should be more about the keywords, in a sentence format. As for the sitemap settings and the display multimedia, we have all of that stuff pre-configured for you, and you won't have to worry too much about that. So over here, you can see that there are no categories currently. I will go on to describe and explain the categories to you in just a moment. As for the next box down, tags. This is more meant for blogging. Again, it's another way to bring in good keywords and help your users to sort of sort through a larger catalog of blogs using helpful tags. So in this case, we're going to do apple, orchard, for sale, Indiana, fresh, fruit, and so on. And you can have lots of tags, and tags are great. And I will show you where those show up in just a moment. You can see that I have a featured image here, and that will show as a small thumbnail next to the blog itself on the main page here, once we have uploaded that. And then you have the gallery images here. So if you are talking about your orchard and you have a lot of photos of said orchard that you would like to use. Let's see if I have some apple orchard photos, which I'm sure that I do. Well, here's just some photos here. I'll show as an example. You can select a whole bunch of photos at once or one at a time. In this case, I've selected a number of photos for Apple B. It's actually kitchens, but it'll work for this demonstration. So I'm going to click on all those and click open. You can see that the system is working through. It's checked them all. And again, this just indicates that the file was successfully uploaded. And then we have to go over to the picture list and specify by checking the box which ones we would like to be inserted into the gallery. So once you've selected the ones that you want, just press submit. and you can see that it lists the different photos that you uploaded down the list here. And that will just automatically create a rotating slideshow gallery for you when the user clicks through on the article itself, which I will show you an example of that in just a moment. The final item that you'll want to look at when creating this article is the author. It will by default select whoever is logged in as an administrator. So if you want yourself, the administrator, to be listed as the article author, you could just leave this as the default. But you do have the option of selecting from a list of other administrators as well. For example, here's the intern 3 that we made in one of the prior segments. So I can click change, and it will you can change who the quote author is. So before we could just go ahead and push publish, and that blog will be immediately live on your website. We can save it as a draft, which it will put it into your main list, and you can come back to it later and finish it up without publishing it. Or you can specify a future date that you would like to publish this item as well. So if you're sitting at home on the weekend and you know that you've got 12 events coming up in the next 12 months, you can come in here and specify the date that you would like for this item to go live. And then on that date, it will automatically take what you've written here and put that up on your website at the time and date that you specified. And if you want it to be for the current date, you can just specify the date that you want it to go live. So according to this, it will go live at 5:14 a.m. on the 26th. So let's say that we want this to be at 10:14. And press OK. And so once we've published this article, you can see that I've changed. I was just editing this one. If we go back to the page where the articles are at, you can see that it's not live yet because we specified that it not be launched until this future date for this at this time. So that's how to edit a blog. So this one is scheduled to launch in a little bit today, later on today. We specified a future time, so we'll publish on this date, just not until the actual time that we specified. So that's if you want to edit a blog. If you want to just quickly create a new blog, you can select Add New from this control panel here, or you can go straight to New Article off of the main page here. And it will open up a blank version of this box. So this is our title. This is our summary. Here's the body of our article here. Again, all the SEO title stuff if you choose to do that. Some tags, 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 tags. And you can't have duplicate tags, so it won't let you do that. And then I will quickly upload some of these photos again. And I'll set a featured image of the little logo here. And I'm going to go ahead and press publish. And you can see that it's added this blog in. So now when we go back to the home page, you can see that it shows our little summary here. We've got a little photo of our main photo. And then when we click on the read more, it takes us over to a detailed view of the blog itself. So you can see that it's put in this little slideshow for us. It's got our main body of our article, and you can see that it put in the article tags here under tags. So that's how you create a new article. And the final step that you're going to want to know how to do is how to add categories. So to add categories to your blogs, it's a real simple process. All we have to do is go back into the main blog manager, click on categories, and you can just simply type them in. So if we continue to use this Apple example, we could say, Granny Smith, Macintosh, and so on. And so now that you've created these categories, you can even delete one, so I can get rid of this uncategorized category. Now that we've created a couple categories, if we go back to our blog and edit one of them, you can see now that we can select from different categories of article, and you can even select multiple articles if it's relevant to have more than one category. And that's how you maintain and edit all of your blog modules. If you get stuck, let me know. I'm happy here to help. Thank you.